You have to also match performance, you have to match technical aspects. So it's almost like sustainable packaging is not going to be given, an easy pass just because you claim to be sustainable. So clearly those issues have to be worked on. Carrying forward in the same vein, Vijay or Dr. Makijani, for you, plastic is incredibly cheap, right? And effectively blocks moisture, oxygen, grease, and so on, which we all know. When we look at alternatives like seaweed and fungi and polymers derived from such biosources, how do we close that performance gap without taking assistance of, let's say, some chemicals or some coatings, which may be toxic? What are your views on that?
So that's a very, very interesting point, right? So first of all, good afternoon to all of you. I am the CEO and Director and the founder of Elsewhere Eco Products. As you know, we started off trying to make eco products. The eco product that we make is paper honeycomb. The one product that we've replaced at very, very large scale is EPS, or it's more popularly called as thermocol. So I'm going to be basing my answer based on that, because the first question I get every time I'm out there with the customer is, "Ye geela nahi ho jayega?" Right? So that's the barrier question. Now coming to solving the problem. Let's understand how long did EPS take to become the gold standard in packaging, if you want to call it gold standard by the volume it is used in. EPS was discovered in the 1940s, right? It was only by the 80s that it became the de facto packaging material for the industries it is used to be. It took them that long to make it popular, make it affordable, make it a material that could be manufactured everywhere. So while we are here discussing about green technology and that it's taking too long, right? Taking something from concept stage to mass adoption is always a long process. Now we got into this entire journey about 20 years ago. 20 years ago, we would have to tell people what is hexagonal geometry, what is this, why does it take load. We were literally talking about the ABCs, right? Instead of having a communication in English, imagine having to tell a person this is A, this is B, this is C, and we were there with regards to sustainable packaging, right? 20 years from then, today, we have this same material being manufactured across the country. It has become mainstream, right? Simpler questions like, "Ye gila ho jayega, moisture mein kaise kaam karega?" People have just learned that there is inherent strength in biodegradable materials. Even with heavy amount of moisture, it is engineered to perform, right? And that brings me to your point. Engineering of packaging is a key aspect. If we are looking for a green material that feels, looks and is manufactured the same way like an EP foam or an EPS or something like that, we are not going to find it. Because EPS didn't replace something that looked exactly like itself, right? When corrugated boxes came in, they were the greener solutions to wooden crates. They don't look the same, they are not built the same way. A lot of people had the same challenge, but if I kick it, it'll break, it has no nails, somebody can tear it. Having been through this journey of converting people into green packaging, I can tell you a lot of questions which were very big questions 5 or 10 years ago are not questions anymore. You walk into a particular company and if you ask the same guy who asked this question 10 years ago, he's looking at you and say, "Ye kya pooch rahe ho?" Because people will just believe when it is there everywhere. And I think it's for manufacturers, it is for the government, and I'm very glad we have somebody here from CII, because you have a lot of weightage influence on the government. And I believe that the more expensive you make it to start using plastic, right, the more we will have shift towards greener material, and a lot of technologies in the green space are now maturing to mass adoption. When I'm telling you this, when I started this 20 years ago, we were in one corner of Bangalore. Today, honeycomb is being made by us in 3 locations. There are large plants of paper honeycomb in more than 20 cities. Right? And I can tell you, most of us are running to capacity. In the last 12 months, we've had to expand facilities, right? 10 years ago, this was not heard of. 10 years ago, I didn't know when my next expansion is going to come because we were still talking about the basics. So I believe there is a future. As far as the barrier protection part of it is concerned, just allow me another minute. The barrier protection is very clear, right? You look at what happens today. If you have a, let's take a refrigerator for example. The first thing that goes on a refrigerator is a plastic bag. Then comes pieces of thermocol. Then comes a carton box, right? We are already using multi-layered packaging. Just that they come from different sources and we are putting it all together. So when you look at eco-friendly as well, right? Even if you were to retain a part of plastic, number one, if you retain that part of plastic, you're still eliminating 90% of that plastic, right? So 90% greener is any day better than 0% greener. Would you agree? Right? So that's what we are talking about. And with that, right, we understand that a barrier is a barrier, impact protection is separate, unitization is separate. Now each of these don't have to perform, does not have to have the same property. So once we start to understand that, I believe that the shift towards greener solutions is going to be very, very rapid. Thank you.
Thanks, that was very detailed. You want to, yes, please.
So I'm Ankit Gupta. I'm the Joint Managing Director of Holistic Group. We're a diversified group into security, printing and packaging, anti-counterfeiting solutions. Here